Hello and welcome back to dive number 2 on the Sherman. Every time you go diving, it's usually a 2-tank dive at that location. If it's a reef, they might go to a different spot, drop down, but essentially anytime you go on a dive trip, you go on for at least 2 dives. At least that's been my experience. Again, nothing super spectacular about the dive profile here. It looks like I did encounter some ascent warnings. I guess I was chasing Jay up the rope after all. She's a fast one. She was a fast one. All right, whatever. Let's just go ahead. I didn't have it on the summary tab anyway, so not sure how deep I went. Again, about 55 feet, it looks like. Temperature 79 degrees. I was in the 3 mil wetsuit, which was more than adequate for that temperature for me. Okay, let's look at the videos. Alright, my second time back rolling into the water was better than the first, so I turned my camera on a little sooner this time. You can see that was the juncture. That juncture of ropes is at 15 feet. So I was going down, 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 and those are Jay's bubbles that I'm chasing right there, I think. She's a fast one, man. She's down fast, up fast. You can go down as fast as you want. Coming up, it's supposed to be a little slower, but yeah, there was. Well, shouldn't have been doing that. Yeah, I told you that current was it was kind of strong down there. All right, I lent her my light actually. So she did not have a light the first dive, and I was blasting mine, blaring it out. I got a good light. It's got a big. When I turn on the floodlight portion of it, oh, light in the face. There we go. Yano sauce coming at you. I can't believe how green this water looks in the ocean. I figure ocean water is usually blue, I don't wonder if that means there's a lot of algae in it, or it's probably GoPro, just can't figure out the color balance. I don't remember it looking that green to my eyeballs, but I don't know. But yeah, the first dive I had this light, and she did not have a light, and I'm thinking, maybe she doesn't want me to turn this thing on, but I asked about her on the boat, asked her about it on the boat in between dives. And she said, yeah, I totally meant to bring one, but we were rushing around to get everything ready, and turned out the batteries were dead. So I said, hey, I got a backup. Do you want it? It's kind of a POS, but it might be better than no light. So she said, sure. So actually, I was glad to see this light even worked. I haven't turned it on underwater in a very long time, so kudos to that light. I think I only spent like $40 on that, maybe 50. That's meant to be my backup. And like if I'm going to a place where I know it's going to be really dark, or if I'm doing a night dive, I'll definitely tuck that back up with me. But other than that, I usually don't even take it. But I brought it on the strip just kind of to bring it, and ended up being useful because she used it, so that was cool. Yeah, she was on her... Uh-oh. Yeah, I just want to touch the sand there. There she is. She's on her mission. I think she's looking for Civil War gold. I don't know. She was really poking and prodding, checking under things, sticking her head under things. Maybe I need to do that. I don't know. I've always, like I said in the first dive, I've always been kind of a... I'm just going to hover above this and kind of check it out from a distance. But not her. And I will say, in defense of her, when I go places with dive guides, like Cozumel, oh shoot, where else? I'm trying to think. There was one who was really poking her. Oh, Hawaii. That's where the other place. Hawaii. Yeah, those dive guides, they really start poking around and looking at things, so maybe I need to do more of that. They were really get in the cracks and crevices and look for things, and I've always been like, yeah, I'm good here. Just take a look at what's going on from 10 feet up, maybe 5 if I'm feeling rebellious. I don't know, they just like hammer into you at dive school. Don't touch anything, don't touch anything, don't touch anything. Oh yeah, so this was awesome. So she found this knife and promptly handed it to me. I don't know why. She found it, and I guess it was on me to carry it the rest of the way, which I did. You're welcome, Jay. And I held it in my hand most of the time because that's a pretty good knife, you know. It's been down there. There was sea life growing on the handle, as you can see. A little rust on the blade, but clearly supposed to be stainless steel blade. So I'm curious how long that was down there. Probably a few months, maybe? I'm totally guessing. You know, maybe there'd be more sea life growing on the handle. I don't know. That's really the indicator to me. Maybe it doesn't attach that well. I don't know. Anywhere probably from a couple of weeks to months would be my totally uneducated guess. I feel like if it had been years, it'd look worse than that. So I think it's relatively new, but... Anyway, I was carrying this thing in my hand the entire time, essentially, because I was scared to put it in a BCD pouch because I was scared to, you know, puncture my BCD. I didn't want to do that. And we were getting towards the end of the dive, and I'm thinking, man, I'm going to need my hands. Because when we got to the top of the boat, you saw those ropes, and it was choppy out there. And it was, the exfil procedure was go up the safety stop, you know, do your safety stop to 15 feet, then pull yourself along that rope to the back of the boat, and there was some swimming involved. I don't think the ropes were all connected, but there was a tag line out the back of the boat, so you had to get to the back of the boat, and you're supposed to form like a line. Actually, so we're 50 feet down there, and that was a quick, didn't see all of it. And yeah, so you get to the back of the boat on this tag line, and it was choppy. So they told you to, what in the world is that? I have no clue what that is. She found stuff. That's what you get for poking around. She found things, you know. I'm floating above with my tunnel vision, and I'm just like, yeah, this is cool, but I never find anything, so. Although, I did see the barracuda then, she did not see the barracuda, so I'll pat myself on the back for that one, yeah. I pointed it out to her. It was pretty faint already. We were at the safety stop, and I was like, look behind you. But it was pretty faint. It was just a silhouette to me, and by the time she turned around, it was gone, so she missed it. Usually I'm the one not seeing things, so I'll take it. But yeah, at the end, so you come up on the line, it's 15 feet, do your safety stop, go to the back of the boat, and you had to swim, I think. Maybe you didn't have to, but I did not see a rope to the tag line. And the tag line is a line that kind of extends out the back of the boat, and you kind of line up there single file to get back on the boat. And somebody actually cut in front of me the second dive. It irked me just a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe they were low on air, which in that case, absolutely cool. Nope. I'm kidding. But then on the tag line, and I will say this is only the second time this has happened in my diving career, and it's happened back to back. They did this in Key West too. Behind the boat, they want you to take your fins off while you're on that line. I've never had that happen before. Every other time, I pull up to the boat, grab the ladder, then I pull my fins off, hand them up to somebody up there. Both in Key West and here, they said, nah, while you're on the tag line, take your fins off, loop them over your wrist, then pull yourself along the line to the ladder, then climb up on the ladder with your fins on your wrist. That's cool. I had no problem with that. It's just, never done it that way before. So I don't know if that's like the hot new-ish way of doing things, or if that's just how these two dive shops do it, and I just happen to catch them back to back. I don't know. It ended up working out, but like, there's not a whole lot of slack in my fins. And look at the flashlight. You see the flashlight? So right, I'm not. Yeah, I was like thinking, can I tuck the knife in the somewhere on my on this glove? That's what I was thinking just then. Like, nah, that ain't gonna work. But you see that light on my left hand, so that's a non-starter for looping fins around my left hand. That's one of the downsides of Goodman glove versus just letting the light dangle. So everything's got to be on my right arm, and that's where I put my computer. And my computer's like a big puck model. It's like a hockey puck. And it's kind of thick itself, you know, it's nowhere near the light torch size. But even that's kind of like, man, I don't have much room to put these fins around my wrist. So they're like, I put them on there and they're tight. And they're like poking me and jutting off at weird angles, you know, because they're not loose at all with the straps around my wrist. And And so that was kind of unsettling, I guess you could say. But, you know, it was fine. It ended up working out. Not a big deal. But here we are. This might be the boilers. No, never mind. Totally take it back. So there were two parts of this ship. Yeah, that's a mast or something. Wooden beam. Look at that. That's from the 1860s. Did I poke it again? I sure did. It was soft. It was kind of soft. Gelatinous. Look at that. That is pretty cool. That is part of a shipwreck. A ship from at least the 1860s, if not before. I don't know when it was actually built, but it was pretty cool when we got out there. And I will say this, one of my first 10 dives was with Coastal Scuba. We went out to the Charleston, I think it was called, which is a boat they artificially sunk somewhere out there in about 60 feet of water. Hold on, I gotta check my playlist. Y'all know me. Where we at? This is 97. Oh, we got tons to go. Yeah, we got about 8 left to go. But yeah, the first time I dove with these folks, and they did the same thing. There's the flounder. There's the flounder. I got you. But see, on the last segment, I might have been looking at my playlist count when I saw them the first time. I think I was. Because I remember specifically taking my camera off my head and being like, I needed some video of this flounder. Alright, that's disappointing. I wish I had been looking at the flounder instead of my playlist. I'll have to go back and watch my own video. Hey, at least I'll have one view, right? But what was I saying? Oh yeah, on the Charleston tug, I think is what it was called. Yeah, like I said, artificial reef, that was probably, I have to check my dive log, that might have been dive, like, number 8 for me or something. And they did the same thing, I distinctly remember, on that dive as they did on this one. They take the dive boat to the wreck, and there is a dive guide. This time her name was Sarah. Sarah was awesome, by the way. If you ever go to Coastal Scuba, make sure you say something to Sarah. She was fantastic. But she's like sitting on the edge of the boat, just ready to go. And I guess the captain is like looking at GPS or something. And the captain just yells out, "Go!" And as soon as she yells that, Sarah, at this particular time, back rolls immediately into the water. It's there's a name for it. It's an immediate descent, negative descent. I think that's what that's called. Because normally when you jump in the water, you pop to the surface, you tell everybody you're okay with a hand signal, you check everything, you give it to your buddies, you all look at each other, and then you decide, okay, let's go down. On a negative descent, you hit the water and you're down. So I don't know, yeah, I think she probably don't have any air in her BCD, doesn't have any air in her BCD. She hits the water and immediately down. Look at all these fish. There was tons of fish down there. There really was. None of them were like, blow your socks off, wow, look how cool this fish is. But man, there was a ton of them down there. But she hits the water, and, you know, she's down for probably, I don't know, 10 minutes at least, and she's setting up, I think she's, first of all, tying the boat to the wreck. And she had a spool with her, but she also had, like, a chain. She had chains with her, too. So she's down there, she's connecting the boat to the wreck. That must have been the chains. Then she whips out her spool, and she kind of ties the spool to the length of the wreck, I think. And in the dive brief, she told us, you know, just follow the line, you'll be fine. If you start deviating from the line, you're gonna get lost. She said, as soon as you leave the wreck, you're gonna find nothing but sand. So she said, stay to the wreck, stay on the line, you know, deviate from the line a little bit if you want, but always kind of know where the line is. And I had no idea where the line was. I was relying on Jay to guide me the entire way. But yeah, look at that. It looks like a boat, right? Look at this silhouette. That is from 1860-something. That's pretty incredible, huh? I mean, that's like the rib cage of the bottom of a boat. No? That's what it looks like to me. Maybe it's not. I have no idea what this boat looked like. I actually... trying to remember the picture... Might have been like a catamaran type boat, actually. don't know. Don't quote me on that. That's probably wrong. I should I probably should have looked up a picture of it before I started yammering away on here, but that definitely looks like a boat bottomed me in one way or another. Man, look at all these little fish swimming around. They love it. I don't know what it is about fish and wrecks, man. I guess it's just like gives them a place to hide, and you drop something in the water and it just immediately turns into a reef. It's pretty cool how that works. Look at all these little fish swimming around. And they were kind of scared of the light, I think. It was dark down there. It was really dark down there. And I turned this light on, the fish started scattering like cockroaches, kind of. Or palmetto bugs, whatever you want to call them. No, those are two different things. I learned this not that long ago. Palmetto bug and cockroach are two different things. When I was growing up in South Click, I always thought they were the same thing. I thought palmetto bug was the South Carolina name of a cockroach. No, that's not true. Cockroaches are actually smaller. Palmetto bugs are the big ones. I think they can both fly. Believe it or not, I think that's fire coral, that orange. Yeah, I pointed it out. They don't fly very often, but I've been in South Carolina enough to know, to have witnessed flying palmetto bugs, and it's kind of gross. Kind of gross. But you ain't gonna find them underwater here, so. Man, look at all this fish. Yeah, it was pretty cool down there. And we found a, well, no, let me totally restart that sentence. Yeah, I guess there were boilers. We found is the wrong terminology, but like we found parts of the ship, I guess, that were kind of tall. And I think those were boilers. I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't remember those the first dive, so I guess maybe we kind of swam past them. There goes Jay. She's on her mission. She's looking for something. There's somebody else. Alright. I guess she didn't find it. On to the next thing. Yeah, at some point, I felt kind of bad. I actually... Where are we at? 403... Okay, we got a few left. Yeah, I had to tell her we had to end the dive, because they told us on the boat, 30 minutes. 30-minute dive. Max of 30 minutes on the dive. And, you know, as soon as you go down, your dive computer starts basically a stopwatch. It does dive time of how long you've been down. And so I'm checking this out. It's getting to be like 27 minutes, 28 minutes. And, you know, we still got to do our safety stop, so, which is at least 3 minutes. My computer is pretty conservative. And I think even on this one, it told me 4. Which is, I'm surprised at that, because we only went 50, maybe 55 feet down. That's pretty shallow, honestly. I think I remember my computer telling me 4 minutes here. But anyway, you know, we're down 28 minutes, 29 minutes, and I finally tapped her, and I gave her the spin my finger in a circle like we gotta turn around, it's time to go. And she's like, yeah. Like, it was too bad. I mean, you got plenty of air, but yeah, they told you gotta get back in 30 minutes. There's your 30-minute dives. You know, that's totally depends, because in Key West I went 100 feet down, and 100 feet your no deco time is a limiting factor, and your air supply, because you're burning through air pretty quickly that deep. So we were down at depth for those about 17 minutes, I think was the Goldilocks zone for that. So yeah, it totally depends on the dives. And the reef dives at Key West were an hour. They told us we had an hour. And I still came back with like 1,500 PSI. Those reef dives in Key West were just... My advice is go snorkeling. It's not even worth diving, I don't think. I say that. Next time I go, I'll probably go reef diving again, but it's so shallow. Those reefs are so shallow. This at least makes sense, you know. 50 feet down, yeah, you ain't gonna see nothing snorkeling here, especially in this terrible visibility. But those Key West reefs were so shallow. Well, the whole keys are. I went diving in Marathon too a few years ago. In fact, those are on YouTube. That's where I first saw nurse sharks. That'd been my first. I think that was my first shark encounter. That's also before I started doing commentary on the videos. So that's how long ago that was. Yeah, if you dig back in my archives for key Marathon, you'll see some nurse sharks. But not me talking, so you're gonna be bored. I know my voice is the only reason y'all come and watch my videos. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this up. Where are we at? 4:05? Okay, it's second from the last. I will say this. When I poked Jade, and it's like, we gotta turn around. She nodded her head, and started hauling ass back to the... First of all, I don't even know how she knew where to went. Don't even know how she knew where to go. Because I would have been lost, but... To be fair, she was following the line, which I'm not sure I even saw. Yeah, I think I'm showing you that I put the knife in my BCD pocket at this point. Lights on. Yeah, that's exactly what I was showing. So I was carrying the knife the entire time, and I knew the dive was ending. I'm like, I gotta do something with this because I'm gonna need my hands. So I very delicately put it in my BCD pocket, and as far as I know, I didn't poke any holes in it, but I'll figure that out next time I go diving. Yeah, I finally told her, yeah, you can see the line there. That line, that's the line Sarah put down. And after all of us were on the boat, she dove back down again and cleaned it all up. So I'm surprised they don't just like leave it down there, but maybe they're not allowed, or maybe they don't want to for one reason or another. I don't know. But I poked her and I was like, yeah, there it is. It's like, we got to turn around. It's getting to be like 29 minutes into the dive time. And she was like, yeah, we got to go. So then I think she turned around. She just started hauling ass. I might have turned my camera off for that part. I even had my good fins with me too. I'm not a strong swimmer at all. If you watch any of my videos, you've heard me complain about my diving in Miami, where they put us out in very treacherous conditions. No rope to the descent point. That's what the problem was, man. Boats, you need a rope to the descent point, man. Instead, you're swimming against the current. It's so much better to pull yourself along without wasting air, without wasting energy. Yeah, Miami had us swimming into the current to the front of the boat in strong current. I had cheap fins on. I was pretty hungover. And man, I barely made it. I also didn't have a snorkel on. That was 100% my fault. So I burned through like 1,000 air on the surface in Miami before I even got to the freaking descent point. And I was pretty pissed about that. So I told myself, never again will I jump in the ocean without a snorkel. I have, including this dive. So one day I'll learn, you know. One day I'll learn. But yeah, I was mostly off camera. She was hauling ass back to this rope. I barely could keep up, even with my good fins that I bought because of Miami, because I couldn't swim in that current. But that speaks more to my swimming ability than anything, which is pretty much non-existent. Michael Phelps, you incredible, brother. I don't know how you do it. But yeah, she was gone. So she was up this rope. She was gone. I was like, man, I'm just not shooting up this rope that fast. I'm sorry. I'll find you when I get there. Yep, I hear my computer beeping. It was already, yeah, it's complaining about the descent warning. I thought I was taking it pretty slow, but even the computer was upset. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, I don't know where she went. She gone. Orange tank is not her. And then, boom, there she is. Woo, alright. Thank goodness. Thought I lost her. I'm sure she was thinking, hurry up, you idiot. Where are you? Man, maybe I do have the Barracuda. This is right around where I saw the Barracuda. It looks like my camera's pointed too low, though. It was like above her head, so even if I was rolling, I'm not sure it made it, but... Anyway, wrapping up here. Thanks so much for watching. Really awesome wreck. If you ever are diving off the coast of South Carolina, I recommend it, and I will see you next time.